So I think Mr. Venkatraman has given us the correct perspective behind what we are referring to as both potential and happiness. So let's take the first part, which is part of our lives, which is events and situations. Let's say you bought a new car, driving along the road, and you stop at a signal. You're waiting to turn left. Guy in a motorbike comes from behind you, swerves. He finds there's an imaginary gap between your car and the pavement. So he tries to squeeze in because he wants to go ahead and he wants to be there first. So he goes there, he cuts it, and he has scratched the front part of your new car. And he now stops because there's a red light. If it was no red light, he would have gone. You get out of the car, you're upset. New car, what the hell? How can you do? Then he says, என்ன சார் நீ நிறுத்தது கொஞ்சம் நாளுக்கு நிறுத்தலாம், ரெண்டு டூ வீலர்லாம் போகிற மாதிரி நிறுத்தாம நீங்கள் என்ன பேமெண்ட் கிட்ட நிறுத்திருக்கீங்க, அப்புறம் என்ன திட்டுறீங்க, நீங்கள் அங்கே நிறுத்திருக்கணும், நீங்கள் இங்கே எப்படி நிறுத்திருக்கணும். He's shouting, he's screaming. புது கார் பட்டியாட. Others are saying, புது கார் இது. Green light has come, the rest of them have gone. Only these two are standing, screaming at each other. Cop comes there. என்ன சார் என்ன ப்ராப்ளம் பாருங்க. Then this two-wheeler fellow is கட்சிக்காரன். So cop says, என்ன சார் புது காரா, எங்கே சார் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பிளேட்டே காணுமே. புது கார் யார், ஆர்சி புக் இருக்கா, நீங்கள் ஓரமாக நிறுத்துங்க சார். So it's gone into some other dimension. He's screaming, now that Kachikaran is gone. Okay. And this guy is now facing a new situation. He says, சார் நம்ம எஸ்ஐ வருவார், அதோட வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க. மீட்டிங் இருக்கே, அதெல்லாம் இருக்கே, விட்டுறியா பரவாயில்ல, ஸ்காட்ச் இருந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல, நான் போயிடுறேன். ஏன்னா மீட்டிங் சார் எஸ்ஐ வருவார் சார், நீங்கள் ஆர்சி புக் இல்லை, உங்களுக்கு ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் பிளேட் இல்லை, எங்கே சார் வேலை பண்ணுறீங்க. So he is gone into a new dimension. So the first thing is, I want to present events and situations, I want to categorize. They are positive, they are negative. They are also in between. But I first want to take the extremes. Events can be positive, negative. Events can be good or bad. Events can be happy or sad. Events can be favorable or unfavorable. Events can be pleasant or unpleasant. Do you agree? I first want to say I will disagree with all of these. Events are events. Events are facts. Positive, negative, good, bad, happy, sad, favorable is the story which I am building around that event. I want to connect up with what we discussed yesterday. Events are events. Events has nothing to do with sad, happy. Events have no positive, negative. Event is only event. Positive, negative, good, bad, happy, sad, favorable, unfavorable, pleasant, unpleasant is my coloring which I add to the event in the manner in which I have interpreted that event and I have stored that event. First is therefore, events and situations are just events and situations. The next important, and I would say now I am going to say these are the spiritual concepts. These are the spiritual laws for us to follow in life. So number one, even in our normal parlance, I still want to say, therefore, events are positive, negative, good, bad, happy, sad, favorable, unfavorable, pleasant, unpleasant. And shades of those in between. Nothing else. So if I can handle and deal with positive, negative, good, bad, happy, sad, favorable, unfavorable, pleasant, unpleasant, if I can handle, I can deal with any situation. Would you agree? If I can deal with any situation, I have dealt with half of my life. Would you agree? Now I'm going to say, how do we then deal with these? I want to first say, accept that the car is crashed. Number one thing, when an event, any event, first accept the reality. Just accept means just acknowledge that the fact is my car is crashed. Next thing I'm telling you, I can do nothing about it. I can later paint it or correct it, but I cannot make this fellow go back and come around me and not have scratched the car. That is not possible. That is just not possible. Why did it happen? How did it happen? Irrelevant. It has happened is the reality. It has happened is that fact. So I would first say that as a spiritual principle and as a spiritual concept, let us accept the reality. Let us gain acceptance is not defeatism. I want to say that because I'm going to move to the next. Acceptance is an acknowledgement that this is the reality. My flight is delayed. That's it. My car is crashed. My house is burnt. I am bankrupt. My business is in a downturn. That's it. Don't add anything to it. First, accept that particular reality. After acceptance, I want to suggest that next spiritual principle, that equanimity, which Mr. Venkatraman was saying just a little. Therefore, positive, negative, this, that, I'm first just accepting. Even when it is positive, I'm not overly elated and I'm not jumping around and I'm not saying I'm not some fellow, great fellow, nothing. Immediately after acceptance, I move to what next. What next is that action component in each one of us. The action component is a very focused, positive component. And the moment I have separated out any of those coloring and those emotions, as the right word which Radha was saying just now, away from that particular event, flight is delayed. What next? That's it. By shouting at the staff, if they can manufacture a new aircraft and make it take off at 6:30, please shout at the aircraft. If that action of shouting at the staff can create a new aircraft, or that action of shouting at the staff can make the fog disappear, please shout at the staff. If that action is not the one which is going to be a fruitful thing towards what you need to do, what next? The moment you start looking what next, you have accepted that event. No energy is getting dissipated into why, what, how, etc., etc. What will I say? Nothing. No story making, no nothing. Energy is not at all wasted on all sorts of things. Energy is very focused. It moves to what next? Okay, flight is delayed. It's 6 o'clock. 11 o'clock is the meeting. Okay, worst case, if I can get that 8 o'clock flight, I will still be in Ahmedabad 9:30. Okay, 1 hour from the airport to the city. If I can get the 8 o'clock flight, I'm still okay. So let me see if I can get the 8 o'clock flight. This is my first thought. As a spiritual person, I want you to say, as a spiritual person engaged in real life, my first thought would be, 6 o'clock flight is delayed, there's an 8 o'clock flight, 9:30 I can reach Ahmedabad, 10:30 I can reach the city, I'm okay. Let me see if I can get the 8 o'clock flight. In parallel, all the things that we have discussed. Okay, where is the, okay, I've got my laptop, okay, I've got my data card. Worst case, let me, while waiting for that 8 o'clock flight, send out the presentation to my boss's email ID. I'll also send a copy to the customer's email ID. And when they all wake up at 8:30 or whatever, I will inform them. But first I will make sure meeting can still go on. This is my next thought. Is there anything wrong with this sort of a process? Is it a very difficult thing for us to follow? So I've not woken up Anita, I've not screamed at her, I'm not worried. I was not booked on the Jet Airways flight, was known to me yesterday, and I didn't do a damn thing yesterday. Okay. It was okay for me because I was also bothered about the cost, and I said, hey, this airline is 500 rupees less than that airline. I'm quite happy because I'm also responsible for the cost management of my operations.